Hello once again, Niner faithful. Johnny Dell back with another playoff edition of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notifications button to be alerted to when a video goes live. The 49ers played the second of 4 incredible playoff games this weekend and were able to come out of Lambeau Field with a win. This was the kind of football game football fanatics love. Freezing cold temperatures, incredibly physical play by both teams, crazy turns of events, snow, and a walk-off field goal. It's still crazy to think about how this game went and was such a wild win to take the 49ers to their second NFC Championship game in 3 years. The offense had a ton of self-inflicted wounds in the game, but also credit Green Bay's defense. They showed up to play. After the first drive of the game, the defense did a phenomenal job holding Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to only 3 points the rest of the game. They controlled the line of scrimmage, confused Aaron Rodgers, and were able to get consistent pressure. You can't say enough about the job that Ryans did in this game. He is getting head coaching interviews this hiring cycle, and rightfully so. He deserves every last interview he gets and then some. So with all that being said, let's jump to the film and take a look at how San Francisco was able to come out of Lambeau Field with a trip to the conference championship. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. So if you watch my preview video on this game, one thing I talked about was the matchup of our interior offensive line with the defensive line of Green Bay. Here we're going to run this toss zone, and Alex Mack will be tasked with a reach block on Kenny Clark. At the snap, you can see that he's never able to scoop Clark, who is able to drive down the line. Smith also defeats Kittle's block on the edge. You can see how everything else is set up well, we just can't execute all our blocks. Then with Clark being so aggressive, we're going to run a split zone. You'll again see Clark manhandle the interior. This time it's Brunskill, and they get another stop. Some of what happened in the game is just great players making great plays. On Green Bay's second drive, Fred Warner is able to force a fumble. Several times in the game, our pass protection was just awful. Here, Rashawn Gary is going to absolutely bully Tom Compton and get a sack. One thing D'Amico Ryans did a fantastic job of, and you'll see several times in the video, is disguising and trapping Rodgers, forcing him to hold the ball just a hair longer and bait him into what he wanted pre-snap and let the pass rush get home. Here, the Packers are going to run a double post concept with a fade from Adams. We're going to show cover 3 Mabel pre-snap, which is cover 3 with the single receiver side being in man coverage, hence Mabel for man. We give Rodgers the look he wants, press coverage with Dante Johnson on Davante Adams one-on-one. Right at the snap though, you'll see Tart bail out into cover 2 zone. You can see Rodgers wanted to go to Adams, and with it taken away, he immediately checks it down for an incomplete pass. This time, the Packers are going to run a double slant concept at the 3 receiver side and have Adams on an out route. We're again going to show press man with a single safety and a pressure look at the line. Then we shift late into cover 2 zone. Again, Rodgers wanted to go to Adams in what he thought was going to be in one-on-one coverage, but post-snap sees the shift and moves off Adams to the concept side. There, K'Wan Williams did a nice job of jamming and redirecting the slot, which disrupted the timing and distribution of the double slants, and he takes it away. That's great stuff from Williams there. Back to the offense, some of our struggles were self-imposed. Here we're going to run our toss zone. One thing about this is that our running backs need time, a lot of time in the system, to really make this thing tick. Joe Gibbs talked about how the running back needs to make his decision by the 3rd step and make his cut by the 5th step. What's the read? He's got to read the flow in front of him. The wide zone will tend to get the defense on the move. If you look by the 3rd step, we see the defense flowing and a cutback lane opening up. This is the point where Mitchell should be cutting up into the hole. You see there's a lane for Mitchell to cut into, but he takes it to the edge instead for no gain. This is a huge missed opportunity for an explosive in the run game. If he makes the right cut here, he's one-on-one with the safety, who's the only guy between him and the end zone. Here's another example of self-inflicted wounds. Green Bay ran a lot of this coverage in the game. It's cover 4 palms. I remember when we faced Kansas City in 2018, they ran a lot of this as well. Without getting too technical, we're going to run a flood concept to the top, which will end up drawing the quarter safety to that side to match. On the backside, we're going to run Kittle on a post. So as Jimmy drops back, he checks the safeties and sees the palms coverage and looks for the safety to turn his hips. Once he does, he knows he's matching the out route and starts his windup on the post as the middle of the field will open up. You can see it's a real nice anticipation throw as Jimmy is in his windup, but George drops the pass. Truly a huge missed opportunity in the game. On defense, you can't say enough about the job the defensive line has done down the stretch generating pressure. It's not just Armstead and Bosa though. Ebukam has really emerged as a pass rush threat. Here, the Packers are going to use both the tight end and running back to chip and release. Watch Ebukam fight through this along with Key. Ebukam is crawling to get to the quarterback. That's just awesome. Back on offense, some of it was just good play from the Packers, so give their defense credit. Here, the Packers are in man coverage showing 2 safeties pre-snap. We're going to run a double in concept. Post-snap, the Packers shift into cover 1 robber and they just plaster to our guys. On top of it, they get a great pass rush. Again, watch Gary on Compton. He gets completely dominated by a bull rush. Back on defense, we did a great job all game of stifling the Packers' rushing attack. Here, they're running an inside zone. One guy who just doesn't get enough attention is Jaquiski Tart. Tart reads this run well and fills his gap like a linebacker, defeats the tight end, and makes a stop on the play. Then here again, the Packers are running an inside zone again, this time out of a more spread formation. Armstead and Givens do a great job. Givens does a real nice job of craftily grabbing the guard and not letting him get up to Warner, who's able to fill the gap. Again, we'll talk about the great job D'Amico Ryans did of disguising coverage. Here, we're giving this pressure look with 2 safeties. It looks like how we show cover 2 zone a lot of times. The Packers are going to run a smash concept at the 3 receiver side that will put the cloud defender in a vertical stretch. But post-snap, we rotate into cover 3 buzz. This ends up taking away the smash concept where Rodgers is looking. As Rodgers moves back to the side where they have the dig, we've also taken that away, which forces Rodgers to try and scramble, and Bosa gets a sack on the play. This is a coverage sack. Our secondary hasn't gotten enough credit for the performance of our defensive line recently. On offense, one thing I said in my preview video is that we couldn't have a turnover. Here, Garoppolo sees this play develop, but the pressure forces him out and the throw is late. It's just something that can't happen. Kenny Clark dominated Alex Mack, but this just can't happen. Then on defense, we have a huge bust. We're in cover 2 zone and we initially cover everything well, but Ward gets caught watching the dig route across the field and doesn't cover the running back. But let's just take a second and give huge props again to Tart, who somehow runs this play down as the backside safety. This play saved the game. No doubt, it's a play that has gotten lost in everything else, but might be one of the biggest plays of the game. The next play after Tart saves a touchdown, Bosa gets a big strip sack that ends Green Bay's touchdown hopes on the drive. So I rarely talk about special team stuff because it usually doesn't have that big of an impact on the game, but there is a scheme to this. We're going to overload one side. Every team does this, and so teams will handle this different ways. Sometimes they play inside out, where they'll assign the end man to block the second man on the end line and reach out to maybe get a hand or an arm on the guy off the edge to slow him down just a hair as he has the longest path to the kicker. In this case, Green Bay is going to block the outside guy, and have the two guys on the end will look to both put an arm out to slow down the second man off the line, which is Ward. Jordan Willis, though, and he deserved the game ball he got. Right at the snap, he reaches out and hammers down the arm of the man blocking him, clearing a path for Ward to come through and block the kick. Back on offense, we finally get a decent drive going coming out of half to put some points on the board. Here we're running our toss zone, and this time Debo reads it well and makes the right cutback to get a good gain on the play. Then we get a great gain on a tunnel screen. This is a real nice design. Green Bay's in zone, and we come out in a balance set with two receivers to one side. They have the box safety on that side, so we motion Jennings across, and Green Bay doesn't shift the safeties. This is what allows us to have numbers in the screen game. Back on defense, we have more disguise. Here we're showing a heavy pressure look again, and post snap we're going to come with a creeper blitz, dropping Bosa into coverage and bringing Dante Johnson from the corner and rotating into cover 2 zone. The Packers come with a verticals concept, and Warner does a great job matching the vertical down the middle. With the pressure off the edge, Rodgers checks it down for a short gain. On the one drive the Packers were able to get deep into scoring range, we're able to hold them to a field goal. The Packers actually have a nice design versus what we normally run here. We're in cover 2 zone, and the Packers are going to run a vertical down the middle to clear out Warner, and then they're looking to run a route over the middle to the vacated zone. But K'Waun Williams plays it perfectly, takes away where Rodgers wants to go, and it gives the pass rush enough time to get home. We'll highlight Tart again. Here, watch the job that Tart does filling once again, which allows DJ Jones and Dante Johnson to get the tackle. So we've shown this heavy pressure look a number of times, and this time we come with pressure and it gets home. Real nice scheme here. We come with Ward off the edge, and the threat grabs the tackle and running back. And the guard gets focused on Bosa, so it turns Armstead loose. Then we'll just show the pump block, which is Jordan Willis. He just beats the long snapper on a power move. So we're going to highlight more of this disguise from the defense. It was just so good all game. We're showing cover 2 zone pre-snap, and the Packers are going to have a smash concept dialed up again. Post-snap, Rodgers is reading Mosley, who would be the cloud in a vertical stretch, but we're running cover 3 buzz. And Mosley is dropping into the deep third, taking away the corner route, and Rodgers never sees Williams sitting on the out route and nearly throws a pick. Here, the Packers are running a pin concept, which is a post plus in, and we're coming with a zone blitz on the play. Rodgers never sees Hufanga, who comes from the shallow middle to the deep half, and he and Johnson bracket Adams on the play. Now, one thing to notice, I've seen a lot of people hammering Rodgers for this miss on this play, but you have to understand, Rodgers hit this same play for a huge gain against us in week 3 by watching Ward drive on the dig route. So when Rodgers sees Ward sit shallow, he thinks he's got the deep post. Then we come to the game-winning drive. We start out with a play we ran earlier. The Packers are in cover 3 zone, and we're going to have a stick nod to the 3 receiver side, and Kittle on a lookie route, or what will be a slant versus this coverage. Jimmy sees the zone shading to that side and hits Kittle for a nice gain to start the drive. Next, we get a nice gain on a toss. I want to point out Deebo Samuel here. The guy catches passes, he runs the ball, he gives a great block here. Watch the block that Deebo puts on a linebacker on this play. He looks like a fullback. Green Bay is going back to the Palms coverage here, and we're going to have Ayuk on a slant and Deebo on a Texas route. Against this coverage, you're going to have only one defender over the short middle, and so Jimmy first looks to Ayuk, which draws the mic to that side and opens up the middle of the field for Deebo. Then to seal the game, we're going to give the ball to our best player on offense, Deebo Samuel. This is a great and gutsy call by Kyle. Green Bay showed their light personnel package before they called timeout. They bring in Zadarius Smith inside and Amos down in the box. This gives us a great matchup in the run game, as Kenny Clark is the only big body guy in the game. This also means you'll have Kittle on Amos, which is a win. We get an initial hole and then watch Kittle drive Amos out of the play. And this sets us up to win the game on a Robbie Gould field goal. Well, that's how it happened, how the 49ers got back to the NFC Championship game for the second time in 3 years. It was a tremendous team win, and one that took all 60 minutes for us to win. What an amazing season it's been so far, and we'll all be pulling for our team to make it back to the Super Bowl. Watch out, as hopefully Wednesday or Thursday of this week we'll get a preview video out on the Rams for our third showdown of the season and to see who goes to the big game. But as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Niners.